Good evening, my dear friends. I welcome you to the discussion on Das Capital. This is the second chapter on the series which I am discussing. Already, I have discussed about the exchange value of money, the use value, and the exchange value, and different forms in which the commodities are presenting themselves as use values and exchange values, and the role of labor in this circle of use value and exchange value. In this chapter 2, we are going to discuss about the exchange. It is well known to all of us that the there has been communities in different civilizations. He cites this as the Incas of Americas, the Indian communities. So these communities, for them, when the commodities were produced and sold or bartered, that is the bartered in Indian communities and the Inca communities of the ancient times, the commodities were bartered. One item was exchanged for another, and it didn't form any value or at all. That is, it had the use value. For example, one cattle was exchanged for a a lorry load of or a cart load of corn. Then it was the exchange of the cow for the bullock cart full of corn, and there was no common exchange value in them. And when the item moved out of the communities and it had to be exchanged with other nations and communities, it started to form some exchange value. So, though the commodities have use value, the owner, the owner of the article doesn't have need for that commodity for himself. So he comes to the marketplace. Marx says that, begins the chapter by saying that the commodities cannot come to the marketplace on its own. It has to be brought. Even the cattle, which can walk on its own, cannot defy the orders of its owner. And on the instructions of the owner only, it can come to the marketplace. So, in the marketplace, a contractual relation between the owner of one article and owner of another article gets established. The owner of one article which is having some use value, for example, the owner of corn is expecting that to be sold in the market and exchanged for another item, for example, say the vegetables. Therefore, the owner of the cartload of corn comes to the marketplace, and the owner of the vegetables comes to the marketplace, and both are having a hope that a social contract would be formed between them, and marketplace is the place where this is to be exchanged. And they are moving out of their communities and trying to exchange their commodities with the commodity of another community. Perhaps within commodity communities itself, this type of exchange has come to be known. For first of all, the owner who doesn't have use of one commodity is going to sell it in the marketplace, and another owner of another commodity will go and purchase it. A person has different roles as the owner of the commodity and the use of another commodity. He is both a seller as well as a buyer. In the morning, if he is the seller of vegetables, in the evening, we can find him buying clothes from another shop. So, this exchange has come to be known. Therefore, the owner of the commodity first try to understand the value of his commodity before he thinks about the use value of the commodity. Only if it has a value in the marketplace, then it is the use value of the commodity is acknowledged. Therefore, first trying to find the value before he understands the use value of his commodity. Thereby, we can also say that only if it has an use value, it will be sold in the market. So, this is a very complex circle, and when many commodities are thus exchanged, it becomes difficult to exchange one commodity for another commodity. To say, for example, for vegetables for clothes, and this becomes a complex exchange. Vegetables for clothes, clothes for shoes, shoes for corn, a piece of corn, a piece of corn for sweets. This is a complex exchange system, and it cannot sustain itself unless a common equivalent form is found. Therefore, Marx introduces the metallic pieces of gold and silver, and these metallic pieces of gold and silver, which is finding value in the money form, that is, money is being expressed as gold or silver, the common exchange value. The gold or silver is having a dual characteristics, both as an equivalent of exchange value and as a commodity itself, that is, it can be sold and bought. And this common money form is having different denominations in different countries. Therefore, it is being expressed as dollar in USA, as euro in European countries, as pound sterling in UK, and rupee in India. Therefore, this money form itself is expressed as different denominations. However, its nature is the same. That is, it contains the value, the exchange value, the equivalent of exchange value, and the denomination for exchange value for the commodities. And what is underlying all these things is that the labor which is producing the commodity, which gets its use value and then the exchange value, and the equivalent of money is nothing but the abstract of the labor underlying in the commodity. It has been there for long. In the primitive communities, the exchange was by way of barter. Those who needed corn exchanged vegetables, and those who needed vegetables exchanged clothes. However, this money form, that is the underlying money form, was already present. It was not coming out, or it was not vindictive, or it was not appearing till the later ages, and this social contract of exchanges have given birth to the concept of money in the whether it be in the metallic form of gold and silver or in the money form. To sum up, the Marx's second chapter is all about exchange value. First, find out the use value of a commodity, then take it to the market, then it will have value. Unless it have value, it cannot be taken to the market. So the commodity must have both exchange value and use value to come to the market, and there would be common denomination of it, which is money, through which the numerous amounts of commodities can be purchased and bought. So a seller is having a buyer characteristics, and a buyer is having a seller characteristics. If he is a buyer in the morning, he is a seller in the evening, and so on. This cycle is going on, and the money itself is having a dual characteristics as an exchange, as a denomination of exchange value, and money itself can be exchanged for money. So this is a beautiful chapter which introduces the money concept, and in the next chapter we will see it in further detail. Thank you. Take care.